Hello, friends and lovers. So this morning, I thought that we could go through two new lists that came out from Goodreads. One is the most read books from this year, and then the other one is the most popular books from this year. So first, I want to start off with the new books because I think that's going to be a little more interesting because obviously the most read books are just going to be the heavy hitters. And I think we can almost all anticipate those. And so I'll let you know all my thoughts and opinions and whether or not I'm going to pick something up or not. Or if I've DNF'd something as we go through these lists. I have my computer right here. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm scrolling. I'll also have it on the screen here. So let me move over a little bit so we can all see. I have you guys a little more back than I normally do. So I feel like you guys can see my mess a little more. But so this is the new books of the year that are the most popular. So we're going to skip right down to, it's either going to be romance or romantasy first. Okay, so we do have romance first. And of course, this is going to be Emily Henry, Ali Hazelwood, and Abby Jimenez. I'm at a loss for words because I think we knew this was going to happen. So I actually haven't read the Emily Henry or the Abby Jimenez. They're both on my TBR. I know when I read them, I'm going to enjoy them, but part of me always feels like I'm saving books for something. And like, I don't know what that something is yet. So when it happens, it will happen. I think we can all get on board there. So I know that there has been a lot of back and forth over both of these releases. I feel like I've seen reviews kind of going both ways. So I'm kind of interested to see how I fall on this because one of my favorite Emily Henrys is one of the ones that's the least liked. I love People We Meet on Vacation. That for the longest time was my favorite until Book Lovers came out. And so I'm very interested to see where A Great Big Beautiful Life goes. And then Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, of course, is on here. It's probably one of my favorite romances of this year. I really appreciated all of, not only the relationship was interesting, but I felt like the friendships and the things that people work through in their friendships was really highlighted here. Something I'm super passionate about is my friendships. So I love to see a romance book that also touches on other kinds of relationships and their importance. So The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I have read half of this. It says currently reading. That is a lie because I started this in March right before I quit my job, and then I quit my job, and then obviously in the kerfluffle, I kind of just let it go to the wayside. I do want to come back to this. This does feel more like it's written in the vein of a Taylor Jenkins Reid, like a Daisy Jones and the Six type of situation. I don't know if this is a true romance. I talked to some of my friends about this, and we're kind of in agreement that this is general fiction. So it's a little weird that it's there, but you know, whatever. But I will be reading this eventually when I get back up the nerve, I guess. Let's see, is there a romantasy section? Oh, yeah. Here it is. Okay, so we have Onyx Storm, which I've already read. I actually really enjoyed this one. I hated Iron Flame. I thought it was so stupid, and I honestly hated the love interest in Iron Flame with a burning passion, but I feel like Onyx Storm kind of brought him back for me, where I was like, okay, I'm on board again. I definitely don't think if you didn't like Fourth Wing that all of a sudden you're gonna love Onyx Storm, but I do think if you liked Fourth Wing, reading Onyx Storm kind of feels like it comes back to like what was good in Fourth Wing. And then, of course, we have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This is on the top of my TBR. I think I'm going to absolutely love this one. So I'm very much looking forward to picking it up and enjoying it and seeing what I think, because basically all of my friends, but I have read it at this point. So I got to get on that. And then we have Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. I did read Phantasma and I enjoyed it. A lot of my friends DNF'd it, but I found that I appreciate a unique romantasy. I do think it was a tad overwritten. So I'm kind of interested to see how it goes. And I am interested in this because when you read Phantasma, there's a lot of questions about the sister, and this book follows the sister. So I'm excited to learn more. Oh, and then this has Shields of Sparrows, which I did a whole vlog on. You can see all of my in-depth thoughts there, but I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a lot of fun. I, again, thought this was a little overwritten. It felt like the middle was too long. Like, you kind of get stuck in the weeds just a little too long. So I am hoping that as this series goes on and Devney Perry writes a little bit more fantasy, that it finds its balance a little more, because I think she got the romance right. I felt all of the tension and the suspense, and then I felt like the ending was brutal and felt like it really deserved all of my emotions. So it was just a good time. I think I read this in like a day and a half. So, oh, and then we have Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I have read like half of this. This was another accidental DNF. And I do want to come back to it, but I will say I totally get what people mean when they say this is kind of a letdown in comparison to the rest of the series. It's not as good. And that's okay. Like, I liked being back with the characters and that felt comforting in itself, but it just is kind of a letdown. So those were the best new books of the year. So let's go ahead. Let's see all of the mega popular books that are the most read books from 2025. So let's see. We are going right down to romantasy. So of course the first three is just the Fourth Wing, just the first three books. And I think it's a 5-book series, but I don't really know what to say about this. I feel like if you want to read it, do that. If you don't want to read it, don't do that. But I will say number 4, which was Quicksilver, I also really enjoyed this one. I feel like I've really been in my romantasy bag in the last few months. So this kind of was the turning point for me. I feel like I picked it up and it's what got me to want to keep picking up more romantasy. So I'm excited to see where this one goes and where the story takes us and all of the hills and valleys along the way. I don't know if this is a duet or a trilogy or how many books in the series this is going to be. This totally blew up this year. I do feel like it's deserved. It's not like the best thing I've ever read, but I think it's fun. It isn't a unique story by any means. Like, he's a several hundred-year-old fae, and she is a poor human who finds herself in his world. It is a tale as old as time. We have seen this before, but I still enjoyed it. So we'll see. Oh, speaking of fae who are several hundred years old, the next 4 books are all ACOTAR. I feel like I don't need to say anything about ACOTAR. Will she ever write the 5th book? Who's to say? At this point, do I even want it? Because people online are so annoying about it that now I don't know if I care. Oh, wow, it's crazy that I've read every single book on this list. Which, I mean, it isn't that surprising as someone who reads 300 books a year that I've read, you know, the 12 most popular romantasy novels. So then we have One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I enjoyed this one. There were things in it that I really appreciated. Like, it has a really unique magic system and that's kind of like card-based. It's kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! In a way. But it wasn't like something that blew me away. I honestly think if I read it right now that I've read like, I think probably 30 more romantasies after it, I don't know where in the pack that would be. I don't know if I would agree with where we left things, but we move forward and I'm hoping her new book hits for me. And then, of course, we're just going to discuss both The Serpents and the Wings of Night and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. That is the duology by Carissa Broadbent. I love Carissa Broadbent. I feel like she really gets emotionality and connection between characters right. And she just, I don't know. I feel like you can tell she's having a good time. And I think her plots are interesting. So this kind of has a tournament style plot where they have to, you know, compete in these vicious games in order to blah, blah, blah. We've all seen different variations of this kind of plot device before. We will see it again. But I do think this does, to me, stand out among the pack of romantasy, and I would definitely encourage people to pick this up, maybe over some of the other ones on this list. And then, of course, we have Zodiac Academy, which is just like a hot trash fire. I don't like to call romance trash or a guilty pleasure because to me, if I like something, it's good. And that's the end of it. I don't like it when people put things down just because, I don't know, misogyny or they think something's less than. But in this case, that is how I feel. In this one particular instance, it's kind of problematic. It is a bully romance. And honestly, I started this thinking it was a reverse harem or a wide shoes situation. It's not. It's not that. But nothing could prepare you for what it is actually about, but you know, I digress. You don't have to pick that one up unless you truly need a brain rot book and are ready to read 9 of them, because that's insane. So let's go ahead and find the true romance category. Okay, we're there. Of course, again, deep end. Read it. It's good. And then, of course, we have Emily Henry. I feel like I said this last year. I feel like if you're going to read Emily Henry or have read Emily Henry, you've probably already picked this up. So I don't really think I need to have any thoughts about this. Lights Out, I DNF'd this. I know a lot of people read it and enjoyed it. I don't know. Something about being thirsty over the TikTok men with masks on really just sat weird with me. And then, of course, we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, which I totally think well-deserved. That was a fantastic book. And then, of course, we have my favorite, Abby Jimenez, which is Part of Your World. And that one's beautiful. I feel like Abby Jimenez, Emily Henry, Allie Hazelwood is all going to have my same thoughts, which is just like, if you were going to read them, you probably have read them already, and I'm probably not going to sway you. And then we have Elsie Silver, which I actually haven't read Wild Side yet. I'm caught up to the series. I'm hopefully going to get to it next month. I feel like sometimes, again, this was kind of a book I was saving, but also I just haven't felt as connected to this series as I did the Chestnut Springs series, where when those books were coming out, I was reading them like day of release. I felt so compelled to, and now obviously I'm not. And then we have Bryn Weaver's Scythe and Sparrow, which I've been putting off because I hated book 2. Like, it was gross to me. And not gross in the Bryn Weaver odd ice cream or weird teeth pizza smoothie situation, but just they sang and there was lyrics and I didn't like it. It gave me the ick. And I was just like, by the time we got to the end, I was kind of repulsed by it. So I just haven't been sprinting to this one, but I have heard this one's good. So maybe eventually, but I wouldn't be counting down the minutes. And then we have, again, Say You'll Remember Me. Of course, that's on there. And I hope to get to it soon. Twisted Love, which Anna Wong, like, she's so good about sticking to this list. She was on this list last year. She was probably on this list the year before with the same book, which that's insane to me. One, because I just didn't love this book. I think it is meandering and it is overwritten, but you know, it is what it is. And then we have First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I have read 3 of her books, and so I'll absolutely read this one when I get to it. I know it's going to be a good time, so I'll get to it eventually. And then we have Butcher and Blackbird, which I loved. 5 stars. It went really downhill with book 2, but you know, 5 stars for Butcher and Blackbird. And then we have 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I don't know why I keep putting Ashley Poston off. Like, I feel like I know I'm going to love her, and I just haven't read them. So if you know which Ashley Poston you think I should start with, let me know, because at this point, I don't even know where to start. So those were the 2 lists for both the most popular and the most read romance books of 2025. Let me know if there's something that you think should have been on the list that wasn't, or if there's a romance on there that I haven't read yet that you think I should get to faster. Let me know. But as always, thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.